Hello, wonderful world. It's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we are going to be talking about the Gemini new moon. The Gemini new moon is on June 17th, 2023 at 11:37 p.m. Central Standard Time. And let's talk about the notables first here. So, why do we do this? So we understand the energies that are happening overall throughout the sky, because this is a snapshot, right? Everything is just a snapshot. Every energy is constantly moving and grooving, and it's affecting your chart, of course, too, in its own unique way, because you have your own unique setup of planets in their own unique houses. No one's chart is alike, and so it's important just to understand that these energies are giving a bigger platform to maybe some of the smaller finite details that I include in this chart reading. And the first thing that I'm noticing is that Venus has moved into, since the last video I made, has moved into Leo. It's been there for a little bit now, not super long, but that's a big shift. So Mars has moved into that like beforehand, and we talked about that at the last video, where that's the energy of action and wanting to do and be out there and be seen. Well, Venus has a different energy than Mars, right? It's desire, it's seeking like comfort, and it's more of a sensual kind of experience. Not that Mars isn't, but like more of enjoying the sensual part of it, like taking the time to savor. But so Venus is now in Leo, and what does that mean for us? So like, not only do we have a planet of action in there, we have a planet of just of like slowing it down and enjoying actually being seen, right? Like Mars is like, let's be seen, let's be heard, let's be authentic and be a leader, which is great in Leo, right? Absolutely. But maybe it's not like stopping and be like, oh, I kind of like being seen. I kind of like having fun, because Leo is also about fun and play and romance. So I feel like this brings in a little more romantic energy, and we're going to be experiencing that for a little bit. And we will be having Venus go retrograde in Leo, not this very second, but that is to come this summer. So we're going to have some time and to explore what it means to have Venus and Leo and how that expresses in our chart too at the time. So get ready for that notable. The next thing is, so it's a new moon, right? So new beginnings in Gemini. So, I think of siblings. So maybe you could have a new start with your siblings, or maybe you want to travel somewhere locally, new projects with your community. But on the deep level, like, where are you getting more information? And also, where is that childlike wonder? And we'll talk about that with the moon's name. But so the sun is in Gemini, the moon is in Gemini, and Mercury, which that's Mercury's home sign. So information, and it's not a bad thing, but I feel like on this moon, it's not going to be so much of a emotional moon as it is going to be an informational moon. And we might get a little bit of information overload just because we have the sun and the moon and Mercury there, and we just may be taking in too much. And so in some ways we might be feeling, it's not a full moon where people kind of lose it, but we might feel a little fried, and it could have actually affect us emotionally, because it's like, okay, I cannot take one more bit of information and this is too much. So I would say enjoy the information that comes, and go ahead and study, but don't fry yourself. Like, please ground, take the moment. There's still energy in the earth signs, so especially like Taurus. So get outside, use that energy to just take it easy a little bit. But also, you could utilize it and hang out with friends, and that'd be a way that you utilize it without short circuiting. But if you're hanging out with too many people and trying to socialize too much, that's another possibility. So temper what you do with all this newfound energy, because the energies are stretched out now. Before, we didn't have as much fire, we didn't have as much air, and we have a little more of a balance of the energies, which is nice. Elementally, like earth, wind, water, fire. But I feel like things are yes, of course it's summer, but things are heating up, so just take it easy. And so let's talk about the name of the moon and the bigger story. And if you're familiar with astrology or not, let's try to talk about this a little bit. Gemini is a very young sign, so to speak. It's, it's the twins, it's youth. It's one of the signs that's very much associated with youth. And with youth is all these great things, right? Like, we know them, usually energy, and for some people they say beauty, and, sometimes time too, depending on your childhood, not for everybody. But there's and also an openness, like a freshness. And so that's what this moon offers us. A really good, fresh, clean slate, and it offers us curiosity, because it's the little brother's moon, and the little brother is very clever, right? And so there may be a lot of fun things to do with people and be very clever. But be on the lookout, because the little brother's moon, the little brother is very clever, but he doesn't know everything. And he's a little disassociated from his feelings sometimes and can be a jokester and a little bit cheeky, right? Like Mercury rules Gemini, and Mercury's actually there. That's the trickster. So it's like, hey, I'm going to play this prank and it's going to be fun, right? Because I am a kid and this is fun, right? Without thinking about maybe emotional consequences. And I feel that that may be arising for some people at this point, is where they or someone else in their life may be, trying to be a little jovial, be a little prankstery, and just, being a little lighthearted. This is not a bad thing, right? But the little brother doesn't always know when they cross the line. And sometimes if they do know, they don't care. Meaning, like, I'm playing this prank on this person. I think it's hilarious and it's going to get a laugh. And, they get a laugh from a few people, but it really leaves the person who is on the receiving end of the prank or whatever, the joke, and it hurts them, right? And the little brother doesn't really care. Now, I know it sounds cruel. It's just they're on to the next thing, right? Because Gemini likes the new and the next, and it's like, I want to be entertained, right? And so they don't stop and think. So this is a good time to assess, like, maybe where we can, one, maybe lighten up and actually be a little more jovial. You don't have to play pranks, but where you could have a little more play and fun in your life. But then two, like, are we having fun at people's expense? It's a really deep theme in this, and I think we should stop and take stock of this, because this is a new, so we can start a new leaf where, like, you can embrace that, as you can hear children playing out there. Like, there's nothing more Gemini than children playing, also Leonic. But you just have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, is the thing that I'm doing, for the laugh or the fun that I'm having, worth at someone's expense, or is it at someone's expense? It's a great time to also have curiosity. Bring it into your life. If you have gotten into a rut and felt stuck and things seem stodgy and old, it's time to bring in the new. And by that, you be curious. Like, instead of saying, I can't or I won't, be like, what if I did this? Or what if this was like that? Just changing your mind and being open. There's also, we talked about a little earlier, as you're being curious, it's time for you to express yourself, to be out there, to be a leader. And again, this is going to be different in everyone's chart. Like, if you have Leo rule in your 10th house, it's going to be more in your workplace and in, like, the larger scene. If it's in the 12th, it might be, your spirituality, or someplace that's a little more hidden. First house, it's your body. So you may feel like you want to express your body and also, like, exercise it. So you're going to kind of, work with it as it is. But if you know where that is in your chart, where Leo rules what house, you can really harness the power of expressing and enjoy it. Because, like I said, the Gemini brings the child and out, and that little brother brings out the child out, and so does the Leo energy, which is about enjoying the playing, having fun. So have some fun. Explore, investigate, and moving forward, just make sure that the things that you do not hurt other people. And this is a good time to reflect and introspect and find the details about the story. So what makes you curious? And what visions do you want to be seeing? These are the themes. With that, I'm Jennifer at Eureka Astrology and Healing. May the plants ground you and the stars guide you. Ciao for now.